Good evening. Welcome to the big story. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Riza Diaz.
And I'm Sean Yao.
Tonight's big stories. A Tarlac court clears the way for Alice Go to attend the Senate's next hearing on Monday, but the upper chamber wants more than that. It's pushing for full custody of the dismissed Bamban mayor.
Officials who escorted Alice Go back to the Philippines continue to face backlash for taking smiling photos with her. Senator Riza Ontiveros reminds them Go is a fugitive, not a celebrity.
And senators fly to Davao City to see for themselves how the manhunt for doomsday preacher Apollo Quiboloy is going. In the process, finding newly cemented holes in the KOJC compound.
So the big question of the day on whether or not Alice Guo can be compelled to appear at the Senate's next hearing has been answered. Tarlac Regional Trial Court Branch 109 has approved Guo's attendance in the said inquiry. Capas Tarlac presiding judge Sarah de los Santos acknowledged Senator Riza Ontiveros' written request today for Guo to appear at the hearing on Monday, September 9th, 10 a.m. The judge said, given the critical importance of the ongoing inquiry in aid of legislation, the court grants the senator's request. And the court order went on, the accused Alice Guo, alias Guo Huaping, is allowed to attend the scheduled public hearing mentioned above, provided that strict security protocol be observed. So bringing Guo to the Senate will be personnel of the PNP Custodial Center, where she is currently detained.
Now, but there's more to this story. There is an ongoing battle for custody of Alice Go. The Tarlac arrest warrant, which is criminal in nature, takes precedence over the Senate legislative warrant. But Senator Ontiveros says Go should be detained at the upper chamber. She insisted that it was the Senate anyway that first ordered the ex-mayor's arrest for contempt. It was also the Senate warrant that set off the massive manhunt for Go until her capture in Indonesia on September 4. And it was the Senate warrant that officials took with them in Indonesia.
Ginagalang ko ang karapatan ng judiciary na maglabas ng warrant. Pero ang Senado ang may pinakaunang arrest warrant laban sa kanya. Ang Senado ang nag-trigger ng manhunt. Senate warrant ang bitbit ng ating law enforcers sa Jakarta. Ngayon, kung si Guo Huaping ay di magpiyansa, ibig sabihin mas gusto pa niya makulong sa PNP kaysa sa Senate. We need to ask why. Why does she want to be in a jail more than in the Senate detention facility?
Now remember that Tarlac warrant for 2 counts of graft was issued just yesterday, the same day that Guo was turned over to Philippine authorities in Jakarta. And that is why Alice was made to appear before the Tarlac RTC earlier this morning. Ria Fernandez with the rest of the details.
Just a couple of hours after arriving at the PNP Custodial Center in Camp Crame, Alice Go was again on the move. Her destination this time, Capas Tarlac. Yesterday, a regional trial court issued her first arrest warrant on criminal charges. She was charged with 2 counts of violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, a bailable offense. Upon arriving, the Alice Go we saw was far from the smiling person who gamely posed for pictures during her deportation proceedings from Indonesia yesterday. Her head was bowed, hidden under a jacket, arms also wrapped, maybe to hide the handcuffs she was wearing. Inside the RTC, her lawyers presented Go, but decided not to post her 180,000 peso bail.
Sa ngayon po kasi, we see no reason for that, considering na kahit mag-bail siya, definitely hindi pa rin makukuha yung purpose, considering nga na meron pa din siyang other warrant of arrest.
Based on the court's commitment order, Go was remanded back to the PNP custodial facility. Go's legal team also believes she would be safest inside Camp Crame due to the death threats the former mayor has received. After her court appearance, Go was transported back to Manila. But before she left, this group from Bamban Tarlac came to see their former mayor. Aside from the graft charges, Alice Go is also facing a criminal complaint of qualified human trafficking filed by the Department of Justice. Qualified human trafficking is a non-bailable offense. The DOJ has told One News they expect a resolution on that pretty soon. Go's camp filed a motion today asking to again submit a counter affidavit on the said complaint. Recall that her first counter affidavit was questioned as it was notarized not in her presence.
We leave it up to the panel of prosecutors to evaluate whether they will still accept that motion that she filed, no? Pero sa tingin ho natin ay hindi naman po pwede na dahil lang nandito siya, dahil kung hindi naman siya nahuli, hindi naman din siya makakapag-file.
Go is also facing money laundering and tax evasion cases. There are also the Quo Warranto petition and cancellation of her Philippine birth certificate case filed by the Office of the Solicitor General. And Comelec also has a material misrepresentation case against Go for declaring she is Filipino in her 2022 Certificate of Candidacy. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, we are One News.
Well, today is certainly a long day for Alice Go. Let's retrace a bit after being brought back to the country by a high-level entourage in the wee hours of the morning, flanked by Secretary Abalos and General Marbil. Go was presented to the media in a brief press conference. The Bureau of Immigration then immediately executed the mission order against her for charges of undesirability and misrepresentation under Philippine immigration laws. Now, a little past 3 in the morning, she was brought to the PNP Custodial Center in Camp Crame for a physical exam and booking procedures. In the daytime, Go was then transported to Capas Tarlac to face the court before returning to Crame in the afternoon. Now, after being booked, Go was given the orange uniform for CIDG detainees. She then had a mugshot taken where her name was recorded as Alice Liel Go, also known as Go Ha Ping. Now, for her case involving a violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act filed by the Department of the Interior and Local Government. Her fingerprints were also taken and a press briefing followed. The police also gave journalists a glimpse of the room where Go is currently detained. Now, during the briefing, DILG Secretary Benher Abalos repeated that Go had received death threats, which was the reason she left the Philippines.
Kino-confirm ko po ang lahat po ng sinabi po ni Secretary na meron po akong death threats po at humingi po ako ng tulong po sa kanila at masaya din po ako na nakita ko po sila. I feel safe po. Maraming salamat po.
Now, afterwards, the former mayor quickly turned away from the media while still being asked about her smiling photos with the officials who escorted her from Indonesia.
Special treatment for Alice Guo. At siya po ay itatrato bilang ordinaryong detainee katulad po ng ibang na-detain po dyan sa loob po ng custodial facility.
Now, amid the backlash over the inappropriate photos, the PNP insists Go will not be given any special treatment.
What's interesting is you have a little trivia about the room that we just saw.
And it's courtesy of Colonel Jean Fajardo, PNP spokesperson, in her press con this afternoon. Go ahead. Give the trivia.
No, you're the one that heard it.
So Colonel Fajardo did mention to the media that was present in today's PNP press con that Alice Go is actually staying in the former room of former Secretary and Senator Laila De Lima when she herself stayed at the custodial center
how many years?
Oh my.
6-7 years.
Oh my. So you think that room has bad juju?
Well, she got
We'll
out,
find-
so
Eventually,
Maybe she won't stay there anyways. We'll find out.
we'll find out. We'll see.
We
But
will
for
find
now,
out from this next guest. So the question there is, what is next for Team Alice's legal team? And we have with us tonight one of our lawyers, Attorney Stephen David, who joins us live via Zoom. Attorney David, are you there?
Yes, good evening, Risa, Reggie, at saka Sean. Good evening.
Oh, Attorney, you've changed into your evening clothes. Relax ka na.
Siyempre, almost 24 hours now.
Walang tulog po ba?
I understand.
Uh,
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 sorry, attorney, you're moving out of the frame. I wonder if you could move to your left a little bit.
Left?
There you
Okay,
go.
okay.
Perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
That's perfect. Listen, I understand it's been a very long day, and thanks for indulging us. But my first question to you is, the last time we spoke to you, which was just a few weeks ago, you were still insisting that Alice was in the country, and now we have solid proof that she wasn't after all. But she was telling you that she was still here, and you believed her. I guess my first question to you is, do you now still believe her?
As to what? Of course, I still believe her. But as to whether she lied to me concerning her whereabouts, we had a talk this morning and this afternoon, and she explained to me the reasons why she was compelled not to tell me her real whereabout, her true whereabout, considering that the threats she was then experiencing or she was receiving. And I fully understand her kasi she believes that if she will reveal her exact location to me, she thinks that my phone might have been bugged and she can be detected. So, well, there was enough explanation on her part. So I consider her explanation.
So meaning, Attorney David, her explanations to you earlier today when you spoke early this morning sa CIDG Center, it was sufficient for you.
Yeah, because I have to understand also where she's coming, especially during those times. She was really intending to surrender at that time. But the biggest factor why she did not surrender actually was because of the threat she was then confiding to me. But of course, due to our lawyer-client privilege, I cannot divulge this conversation, except for now, where she herself voluntarily submitted all this statement before the media. So there is no more lawyer-client privilege. So I can confirm that we had so lengthy talks on this issue. That is the real main reason why she cannot surrender, turn over herself. So that is also the main reason why I accepted her apology, considering that she believed, I don't know whether that's true or not, whether that's real or marginal or imaginary, but on her part, she was really convinced that there are threats in her life during those times and until now.
Tell us more about these threats. Who did she think was bugging her?
Many different elements. Well, we have she believes there are scalawags in the PNP, in the government, the alleged allegations about the being Chinese spy, the allegation that she is the pogo whatever in the country, and the alleged human trafficking, etc. And of course, very very important factor that she considers the Chinese mafia involved in the operations of illegal pogo in the country. So she really I cannot really blame her if her fear is so compounded that she has to resort to some extraordinary remedies like evading the legal process.
Okay. Talking about that fear, Attorney David, syempre, I think by now everyone has read this or heard about it online through the news. She did decline to post bail, which means that you guys, also her legal team, also asked the court in Tarlac if she could just stay in the PNP Custodial Center. Does she feel safer being in the CIDG Custodial Center inside Camp Crame as opposed to, for example, sa Senate?
Well, that is really her prerogative. I do not know actually what was the conversation that that was engaged in Indonesia concerning our top officials. I do not know how she was assured of her safety if she will be in the PNP custodial. So I really don't know, but we respect her decision that instead she be detained in the facility of the Philippine National Police. On my part, of course, I have to respect that. And considering that I have already experienced several, I have already handled various cases and whose respondents or accused were also detained in those facilities. I trust in the capability of the PNP to handle this high-valued detention people, detention prisoners.
Just to clarify, attorney, it was her choice. Siya po yung nag-request to stay, to ask the courts to stay na lang, no, sa PNP CIDG Custodial Center.
Yes,
And not
of course.
not the suggestion of her attorneys.
No, we cannot. Kasi how can we suggest that when it will be her who will be suffering all the inconvenience, di ba? As for me, I am telling her, in the Senate facility, aircon doon, and you will be with your sister. But then here, it's not aircon, and so, well, of course, in the end, she will decide where she wants.
About the threats, that's a pretty wide net that you cast there. You said PNP, scalawags, Chinese mafia. That's a lot. That's external and internal threats. When she told you that, did you believe her?
Whether I believe her or not, it's irrelevant. It's immaterial. She has her fear. Personally, I don't believe that. I don't believe that thing. But can I compel her? Can I force her not to believe that when she is the one experiencing the anxiety, the stress, and she believes in this? That's why I was always telling everyone, whether that's real or imaginary, I do not have control over that. It's her. It's her feeling. It's her fear. It's not my fear. Kasi me, I don't believe. Really, I don't believe that. But she believes that. So what can we do about it? If she fears, she has fear, she has anxieties, how can we say, no, don't believe that? Oh, ako, I don't believe that. Pero she believes that.
Can you tell us, attorney, I think Alice Go arrived in Camp Crame slightly after, just a little bit after 3 a.m., no? And
Yes.
early this morning, I know you guys were given some time to have a consultation with her. Exactly how much time did you have with her? No, before she
So
had
much
to...
time naman.
So much time
So
naman.
much time naman. Oo. Pero ako, personally, hindi ako. It was my law partner, si Attorney Nicole Hamila, and lawyers in our office, which who conferred with her and consoled her and, well, listened to her stories.
Right, because Attorney Nicole accompanied her, I believe, to Capas RTC in Tarlac. And
Yes,
na-ambush interview po kasi siya doon.
Yeah,
of course,
I
she was
saw
saying,
it.
so she was saying na just for the benefit of people who might have missed that, she was saying, we got shocked. The new arrest warrants from Tarlac RTC filed by the Ombudsman, it just came out yesterday. So you guys haven't had time to kind of map out the plan. She said she was also rushing to file a motion. Can you tell us, ngayon na medyo lagpas 8 p.m. na, do you guys have a clearer sense of the legal plan?
Yeah, of course. Really, we were surprised. We were caught red-handed as to this case, which was filed only yesterday. We did not anticipate this. So nonetheless, we will be filing the necessary motions in order for us to have this case dismissed, because we, the legal team, we believe that we can have this case dismissed by a motion to quash.
It's also been reported that prior to her arrest, Alice might have been wanting to surrender. Likewise for her brother Wesley. Can you confirm this, please, attorney? Was she wanting to surrender?
Wesley, I was always conferring with Wesley, and right now he really intends to surrender now, because I was telling him the futility of what he's doing, considering that the long arm of the law will eventually catch on him. No, anyway, his case is only about a Senate contempt, which if he will appear before the court and he will tell the court what they want to hear from him, so the warrant will definitely be lifted, and he has no case anyway. So why will he burden himself by hiding all over the world or wherever? You don't know, wherever. So and most importantly, kasi he is the bunso, the youngest among the brothers and sisters. So he looks so much to the care of the two sisters na ngayon and nasa detention. So parang he was so demoralized right now. He just want to surrender and
Right.
be with the sisters.
So when is that happening, attorney?
Anytime yan kasi this afternoon I just conferred with him and I think anytime he will tell me his whereabouts and I will just have to request the authorities to pick him.
Does he have to be picked up, or can he freely fly back here to the Philippines and face the Senate?
I think wherever, if he is in the country, no problem. But if he is outside, I think his passport was already cancelled. So there's no way for him to travel.
Okay, Attorney David.
I'm not sure that's true, but in
Right,
any case, when you say that he's ready to surrender anytime, what's holding him back right now?
Of course, it's the same, the fear of the unknown.
Okay.
Attorney David,
What,
are
sorry,
the-
And what about the Alice, the reports that she was ready to surrender before she was even arrested? Is that true?
Yes, that's true. I can confirm that because I was conferring with her last August 22 in the afternoon before I was ghosted. No, after August 22 in the afternoon, I was ghosted. I was only able to talk to her this day. And the last thing that we were discussing was how she will be surrendering, and what will happen, or where will she be placed in custody? Where? So that was basically what we were discussing.
August 22. Why didn't you tell senators that? Why did it have to? Why did she have?
What should I tell the senator? Did they ask me? I should not speak before the Senate if they do not ask you.
No,
Unless you are
that's
asked,
only
you
if you're
cannot
in.
speak.
That's only if you're in the
Uh-huh.
hearing. But surely you could have sent word to the Senate to say that she was ready to surrender.
I was always telling that to the interviews.
What was the plan, though,
I was
Attorney
always
David?
telling that to the media.
Yes, but what was the initial plan? Okay, now it's moot, right? Because she's already here, etc. But back in August 22, before you were ghosted, ano po yung rough plan of Alice's surrender? Like, did she tell you, did you guys work out like how this was going to proceed?
Yes, of course. That's why I was in constant coordination with the proper authorities, which I cannot divulge, of course, for top reasons, for secrecy reasons. But I was always comparing with them as to how and where and when she will be picked up. But she told me that, yeah, she's really willing to surrender, except that after that, I was ghosted nga. I was not able to communicate. Nobody in the family, nobody among her close friends was able to communicate with her at the time. From that time until the time she was intercepted or arrested last 2 days ago.
Attorney, it's more or less 48 hours. She will be appearing to the Senate. Will you be there with her? Ano pong paghahandang gagawin niyo over the weekend for this? It will be, it will be a very eventful day. Marami pong magiging katanungan sa araw na yon.
As I was always, as always my practice, my instruction is simple. Just tell the truth. And you see, the performance of Sheila, di ba? I just told Sheila Gu, just tell the truth because the truth will set you free. If you're telling the truth, the Almighty will be with you. So there's nothing to fear. So if you tell the truth, unlike if you're telling the lie, there will always be reasons how you will be caught. So just tell the truth, as simple as that.
The problem is,
Do you get a
there are a lot
sense?
of holes in Sheila's story. Even the senators don't believe her. Right? I mean, as simple
Yeah,
as...
that's the problem, ladies. As a lawyer, I cannot speak before the Senate unless you are recognized, no? But if I am in the courts, I can always speak. I will always say, if you do not agree with what my witness is telling or with my client is telling, you are not supposed to tell that she's lying. Kasi it's basic. If you do not agree with someone, you don't tell that she's lying simply because you do not agree or simply because you do not buy her story. What you will do is you present evidence to rebut her testimony.
Which they
show
did,
proof. You show
attorney.
proof that, hey, this witness is telling a lie because this is the truth. I have with me counter evidence to show that she's lying. But unfortunately, the only thing that is that I see is, I don't believe your story. You're lying. So how can you convince
Attorney?
someone? Oh, yes?
Attorney, to be fair, Senator Ontiveros did present immigration stamps from Sabah. There's a bit of a conflict with the date vis-a-vis no, yung narration ni Sheila Go.
And also,
I did
it's
not. I did not see it. I was there
she's-
all the time.
She
I
said
did
it
not see
was
any
a fake
conflict.
stamp. She said it was
It
the
was a fake
Sabah
stamp.
stamp. Who did not
Yeah,
look credible.
it was indeed. Yeah, it was. You know, she told the reason why she cannot speak English. She didn't know anybody there. She just handed her passport to whoever that lady was, no? And upon the return of the passport, ayan na. So how can you blame someone she cannot speak English? Or
Is there-
she
that's
she
what I
doesn't know
read.
this.
I posted this on my Twitter or on X, Attorney David, that I feel like it would be a great service to just everyone involved if they got Sheila a translator. Is that something
Right.
that we are looking into?
Well, we were speaking of the situation in Sabah. She did not know anyone there. She did not understand English. And when they were, according to her, during the Senate hearing, there was just these people who facilitated the documentation. She did not have anything to do with those things.
No, actually,
What
Attorney,
she was telling,
sorry to interrupt, but I meant in the hearings itself, because sometimes the senators talk fast, they talk over each other, tensions get a bit high, and at least to me as an observer, and I watch every single minute of these hearings, it would seem sometimes she understands when they're repeating it in simpler terms and rephrasing it, but I feel like a lot of the time she doesn't actually understand or she cannot express herself in English or Filipino well enough.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I
Can-
agree with you. Even when I was conferring with her, I really have to repeat my Tagalog before she can comprehend me. I agree with you with that.
Are you gonna fight to get her maybe a translator, someone who can speak English, Filipino, and Chinese, just for her for everyone's benefit, really?
It's not my call eh. It's kung sa tingin nila kailangan they will provide for that.
Not for Alice. I think Alice can
Not
speak
for-
a
for
little bit
Sheila.
English for
For
Sheila.
Sheila.
But in any case, now that you've conferred with your primary client, Alice, their story about leaving the Philippines from Banban, they were picked up in a van, taken to a port about 5 hours away, got on a boat, then another boat, and ended up in Sabah. Do you believe this story?
Of course, I believe that story. That's the story of Sheila in the Senate. So if you do not believe that story, then you have to present your proof that such a thing did not happen. You have to show to us how you believe that the real thing happened, di ba? So you present your evidence, not simply dismiss everything by saying we don't believe that it's not true. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, one of the
Ako, I
pieces.
believe that.
One of the pieces of evidence nga is the stamp from Sabah.
That's why I already explained that, di ba? When upon their arrival at wherever that was, Sian Tengping or
Sian Pen na.
whatever,
Sian Pen na.
there was this guy or this lady who handled all these documentations, and considering that she didn't know anything, and this lady was not even able to reach college. She did not even undergo any Philippine schooling except for first or high school education in China. So she just placed everything, her trust in her sister who is more educated than her, si Alice na nga. So, yan, tiwala lang siya doon. Ito gawin natin. So that's it.
Attorney, matanong na rin po namin, do you have information also regarding or what's the latest on Cassandra Ong?
Cassandra is well represented by Attorney Topacio. I don't know anything about Cassandra. I only met her during the inquest proceeding, the first and the last time.
And just
Okay,
really quickly, one quick question. Do you get a sense, Attorney David, that before Monday, or on Monday, do you get a sense whether or not Alice is ready to talk and to explain?
She is, as I was always telling, why would she talk there as a resource person, right? She's not supposed to talk there as a witness or as an accused. She is being invited as a resource person. So as a resource person, she is required to tell the Senate what she knows. what the Senate wants to see, wants to know, that she knows, no? Ang dilemma lang kasi, the real problem kasi here is they already charged her with various cases. So, under the Constitution, a constitutional right which is more paramount than any legislative inquiry or any investigation for that matter is her right against self-incrimination, because, you know, whatever you will say as a resource person may be used for or against you in the court
Right.
of law.
Right.
So we cannot compel anyone, because we are still under the rule of law, we are still democratic process. We cannot compel anyone to be a witness or to say something against herself, especially in a
Right.
formal
Yeah.
legislative inquiry. That's the dilemma kasi.
Okay.
No, we have seen that play out with Sheila's Senate hearings, but we're gonna have to leave that there for tonight. We'll definitely be following this hearing closely on Monday. Thanks so much for taking time out to talk to us tonight.
Thank you, ladies.
Attorney Stephen David, lawyer to dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Guo.
And the backlash is still coming fast and furious for officials, including DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos, for taking photos with a smiling and happy Alice Guo. The pictures even made headlines abroad. Maricel Halili with that story.
These pictures of Alice Guo during her deportation from Indonesia has been blowing up social media. These photos showing a smiling Guo with NBI and Bureau of Immigration agents, and another one with Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos and PNP Chief Romel Marbil drew much flack from social media users and lawmakers alike.
Isang paalala rin sa ating mga kasamahan sa gobyerno. Hindi dapat ginagawang social event ang pag-aresto sa isang puganteng sangkot sa patong-patong na kaso ng human trafficking, money laundering, fake identity at gross misconduct.
It even made foreign headlines, like this story from the BBC titled Fury, as Filipino officials pose with China's spy mayor. Secretary Benhur Abalos explained it this way.
So we looked at the camera, tumingin kami. Siyempre, pag tingin ng ganyan, di mo naman alam kung anong ginagawa nito, ay nagpapakyut pala, di ba? But if you're going to look at it, I was looking straight at the camera.
As for the NBI and immigration personnel, the DOJ has asked them to explain their photo with Guo.
It was inappropriate to post those pictures, but it was a moment that was, I guess, that we could be proud of. But again, the job is not yet done. The secretary was also quite frustrated na ito po yung naging focus ng operation.
For his part, NBI Director Jimmy Santiago apologized on behalf of the organization.
Humihingi ako ng paumanhin, command responsibility, no? Tinatanggap ko po, at yung aking mga tao naman, nire-reprimand ko rin sila.
Aside from the photos, snippets of this conversation between Secretary Abalos and Guo also made the rounds. Guo was heard telling Abalos that they have met before.
Hi, Sir.
Alice, ikaw pala si Alice. Hindi
Opo, nakita ko tayo before.
Saan?
Tarlac po, Sir.
Ikaw talaga.
Check katulong. May decret po kasi.
At an event today, President Bongbong Marcos brushed off anger over the photos of officials smiling with Alice.
That is part of the new culture now na nagpapakuhalaga ng kahit ano. Kasi po-post nila, tignan mo, nakasama ako dito sa team na nag-aresto sa ganyan-ganyan. That's, ang tawag natin sa Pilipinas, we are the selfie capital of the world, di ba? Hindi nag-selfie, hindi mo naman pigilan ng tao na ngumiti.
Still, the president had this message to Guo.
Will not help her at all to be evasive. Mas bibigat ang magiging problema niya kung hindi siya magsabi ng totoo. The few hundred meters away from my own office, na hindi ko alam yung nangyayari doon, illegal na ganitong kalaki na operation. Kaya sana maipaliwanag niya kung bakit hindi niya alam.
For News 5, Maricel Halili, We Are One News.
Up next, Senator Bato de la Rosa sees for himself diggings inside the KOJC compound where fugitive preacher Apollo Kibuloy is believed to be holed up in. Now, what they found out when the big story returns, stay with us.
Welcome back. You are watching the big story here on One News. Senators Bato de la Rosa and Robin Padilla led the ocular inspection of the KOJC compound earlier today amid reports of human rights violations and tunnel excavations in the ongoing manhunt for Apollo Kibuloy. Marian Enriquez has that story.
Around 10 a.m. this morning, Senators Bato de la Rosa, Robin Padilla, and Bongo conducted an inspection at the Kingdom of Jesus Christ compound in Buhangin, Davao City. They were accompanied by KOJC's legal counsel, Attorney Israelito Torrion, and other members. Their first stop was the KOJC Cathedral, where the senators noticed a hole. They also inspected what was alleged to be a secret door leading to a holding area inside the cathedral. The senators then proceeded to inspect the basement of Jose Maria College, where the KOJC camp claims the police are conducting excavation activities. Upon entering, the senators noticed wooden planks on the floor. They suspected that these might be covering an excavation. However, after removing the planks, no excavation was found. Not far from this, they also observed what appeared to be a newly cemented floor inside the basement. The shape of this newly cemented floor matches the image of the drilling activity previously released by Attorney Torrion. Senator De La Rosa ordered the floor to be destroyed to determine if there were any traces of excavation.
Well, ang nakita natin initially na irregularity is yung pagkakandak ng search despite the absence of the search warrant. Yan ang una natin nakikita.
The senators also inspected the hangar within the KOJC compound where 2 choppers and other aircraft were visible. They did not visit the inside of the King Dome. After the inspection, the Senate Committee on Justice and Human Rights held a public hearing at the Davao City Council. Among the issues raised was the death of a KOJC member due to a heart attack.
Meron kami ambulansya, ayaw nila ipalabas.
After how long?
Ay nako, mga 11 o'clock na ata or 12 o'clock
Ilang oras
na ata.
Ilang oras?
Lunchtime na po.
Ha?
Lunchtime. It was a total
So, patay na yung biktima?
Patay na yung biktima po.
But PNP Region 11 Director, Police Brigadier General Nicolas Torres said that it was the KOJC members who refused to allow the PNP ambulance to enter to assist the person who suffered the heart attack.
Pinapapasok namin ang aming ambulansya, sir. These people, as my aide had stated a while ago, prevented that ambulance at napakatagal bago papasukin, sir. It is on record that yung namatay na yun, sir, pulis natin ang nagdala sa ospital using PNP ambulance.
Senator De La Rosa also called out Brigadier General Torre after the KOJC team showed a video of a woman allegedly being pepper sprayed by a police.
Tinraidor mo yung babae pa. From galing sa likod, gaganunin mo ng paper spray na wala. Nagsasalita lang naman yun sa harap ng mga tao doon. Tapos, galing sa likod pa. With the element of treachery. I tell you, nakakaya. Pulis yun. Tapos babae pa yung may edad pa na babae. Mas matanda sa kanya. Gaganunin niya galing sa likod. Tirahin ng paper spray. Tapos sibat siya kagad. Oh, we don't want to have people like that in the Philippine National Police.
One life lost is one too many. Ang tanong ko po sa inyo, at tatanungin ko to sa inyo mamaya. At ano ba ang magiging endgame dito? Hanggang kailan tatagal ang sitwasyong ito? Ano ba talagang endgame dito?
We're appealing to you to please give these people peace of mind. Ibalik sa kanila yung property. Hindi mo kayang gawin yan?
But in the end, the PNP maintained that the search for the fugitive preacher, which began on August 24, will continue. Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte said that the LGU has no authority to stop the PNP's activities in the KOJC compound, especially since the orders came from Camp Crame. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
The National Maritime Council says the Philippines will maintain a constant presence in Escoda or Sabina Shoal to prevent China from controlling it. NMC spokesman Vice Admiral Alexander Lopez says they will remain resolute and keep up presence there through patrols or other means. That's even after a China Coast Guard vessel deliberately rammed the Philippine Coast Guard's BRP Teresa Magbanua 3 times on August 31st. Now, more recently, the AFP said it spotted 203 Chinese ships in the West Philippine Sea from August 27 to September 2, significantly higher than the previous week. 71 were spotted in Escoda Shoal, which were a mix of China Coast Guard vessels, maritime militia vessels, and People's Liberation Army warships.
Let's talk about this more. Joining us tonight in person is Armed Forces spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla. Colonel Padilla, we are honored to have you here with us live on set.
Yes, I'm really honored to be here in person with you as well.
There's so much to talk about. Let's start off with the West Philippine Sea. As Riza just read, increased Chinese presence out in Escoda Shoal. There is a little bit of a talk that it might be the next flashpoint. What does the AFP think?
The numbers of the ships every week that we report, it really varies, no, from with different incidents and different conditions of the sea. In this case, because there was also an incident prior, we could not speculate when more vessels of the Chinese will be coming in different areas. But at any one time, they have scattered different vessels in different areas in the West Philippine Sea as well.
So walang trend, Colonel? There's been no trend of the number increasing every week. Is it kind of random?
Yes, it's kind of random. It's also seasonal and also depends on the weather. So there's different conditions. That's why we cannot actually speculate on when there will be more and when there will be less.
Nor is there an explanation as to why. Like, bakit dumadami? Like, why is there an increasing number of Chinese vessels?
From our side, from the point of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we can only presume different scenarios on certain instances that because of what transpired from previous week. But of course, we could not speculate from the Chinese side.
But as far as you know, at what point did it, the number of Chinese ships out there started hitting 200 or even 100? At what point did it start, coming up to those numbers?
Just in recent weeks, from previous reports that we've been giving, it's only fluctuating from 100, 120 plus, and all that, no? But this is one of the biggest numbers that we have also reported. Yes.
The ramming incident on August 31st, both China side and Manila side obviously released images of it. It can be seen clearly that it was pretty deliberate, the collision. In terms of what the AFP can do about it, I know that there's the National Maritime Council already who's coordinating the intergovernment response to it. But as far as the AFP is concerned, what is the response? What is the appropriate response?
For all of these operations that's happening in the West Philippine Sea, we are in close coordination with the different agencies that are there, so BFAR and the Philippine Coast Guard. So we have also beefed up our presence in the area. We have allocated more vessels to patrol the area. So at any one time, the Armed Forces of the Philippines is there in the vicinity doing our patrols, both at sea and on the air.
So you're talking about the Armed Forces, the Air Force, sorry, and the Navy. So there's Navy boats, and then, of course, we heard about the flare incident, so we already know that the Air Force is kind of doing some patrols.
Yes, these are regular patrols that we're doing. So these are MARPAT missions that we do, maritime patrols. So we do it by air and by sea.
We have enough vessels to maintain presence there? I mean, we were just talking about this earlier, but it's a serious question. Do we have enough presence to match China's incursions there? Which, by the way, I will point out is well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone.
Yes, we do. Because we have been shifting from the internal security operations to territorial defense. So most of our resources are now allocated towards these missions in the West Philippine Sea.
And how is just a quick question on how AFP modernization is going? I know this has been going on for a while, but of course, as of late, with all the news that's been hitting us, there seems to be a need to kind of speed this up or fast track it. Is that being done, Colonel?
Yes, we're very appreciative with the government's trust to actually aid the AFP in our modernization efforts. So we are well on our way with our Horizon 2, and the Horizon 3 has been upgraded to Re-Horizon 3 projects. And the Re-Horizon 3 modernization actually has more focus on maritime and aerial defense capabilities, as well as cybersecurity.
Okay. Nowadays, Colonel, when we talk about defense, it's not enough. We're not just talking about warships, warplanes, and tanks and guns, right? Or even missiles. We're talking cybersecurity. I did catch your talk recently, and I figured out you were actually a cybersecurity specialist. How does this tie in with the West Philippine Sea issue? Because why is the AFP minding cybersecurity, right? When we're talking about something that you can't see, like enemies that we can't see, we can't feel really.
Yes, we already have 4 domains of operations. From the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we have the Department of National Defense has already declared cyber as the 4th domain of operations. So land, air, and sea, and cyber. And these operations are happening all at the same time, especially in the cyber domain. So if you look at the West Philippine Sea issue, there is that what they term as, from their end, gray zone tactics. In our case, we define this as their ICAD operations, illegal, coercive, aggressive, and deceptive. And this also translates and goes towards cyber domain operations. So what we are saying is we are already at war at this point, but we are at war with words. It's he says, she says, so to speak, in this West Philippine Sea issue. So they keep on giving malign information out there.
You're talking about the fake news.
Yes, fake news, disinformation, misinformation, which leads to fake news. And so if this is actually being circulated online so much, it's like a lie said so much eventually becomes the truth. So that's something that they were actually trying to do in the cyber domain, and this is what we are really actually countering at this point.
How are you fighting that over at the AFP? I mean, this is not what people usually think that the armed forces does, right? So how do you exactly fight the spread of misinformation, disinformation?
In our case, AFP is just one player in this. Cyber is the concern of everyone. So we're really tapping to each and every individual to become more, yung natin sa mga kababayan natin, maging mapanuri sila sa mga nakikita nila. And how they would be able to help the Armed Forces of the Philippines is not to proliferate the wrong narrative out there. So if they see that kaduda-duda na yung mga lumalabas, and it's the narrative of the CCP, then they should not share it already or otherwise report it to proper authorities. Everything we try to discredit if we see that it's really actually fake news. But there are also certain sites that does this. They're fact checkers, so to speak. And so we have to coordinate with them in order to verify all of this information that's going out there.
But what does beefing up the cybersecurity domains mean specifically for the AFP? I know, for instance, some of our allied countries as well has been providing support financially as well as resource-wise, like the United States, UK, Australia as well. How do all of that translate to better cybersecurity defenses?
When we talk about the cyber, it's not just the fake news that we're talking about. It's also the hacking incidents that would have greater there have greater effects in terms of businesses and eventually effects in the economy. And so we also have seen a trend of different attacks that were happening in different agencies and institutions and government agency sites. So all of this, that's what we're trying to mitigate at this point. And it's an all hands on deck thing, so to speak, as we work with the DICT and other agencies also, including our business sector like the telcos, and actually try to mitigate these attacks from happening.
Is there money for better equipment, better software? more skilled people?
Training.
Yeah,
Yes, this is all
training.
part of modernization projects. And over and above that, we are also trying to strengthen our alliances. And with that, with our bilateral and multilateral partnerships with other like-minded nations, cyber is also one part of it. So when we see the exercises that we're doing now, even the Balikatan exercises, there are also cyber exercises that are also being conducted right now.
So those are the parts that we don't see on video. Nothing is exploding in the sea.
Yes,
And,
yes.
but I just want to ask, when you mentioned, of course, there's threat actors, these hacking incidents, do you have a sense of where they're coming from? Are they coming from inside here already? Have they penetrated the Philippines? Are they actually somewhere in the country? Is it coming from outside? Because when you're talking about the internet, it's so easy to, cross borders just like that.
Yes, there's a lot at stake. Of course, we have intrusion detection system, which is different from intrusion prevention. So one is to detect and one is to prevent. And we have all of these systems in place. And of course, we are looking at there are also in the news where we were able to capture a certain individual who has hacking equipment. So all of this, we conduct an investigation together with the NBI, the PNP, and the ICT to look at all of this equipage on what is the purpose and what is the intended use for such equipment. So all of these things, and we also have this site that was once placed out there that was trying to recruit active and retired and those who have military backgrounds in order to give data about...
Is that true?
Did they succeed?
No, the site was eventually taken down.
Okay.
So it was immediately detected.
We heard about that too, yes.
Yes, so we conducted an investigation on that, and then we have tried to see who were possible contacts and those who were possibly applying for such. And so these are all the things that we're trying to mitigate.
What about, for instance, a few weeks or even months ago, there was one of the big news items we carried was Senator Amy Marcos saying there was a hypersonic missile threat from China. What about those kinds of claims? Nothing came of it as far as we know. I don't know if there's a real threat of hypersonic missiles, but a lot of people have debunked it already. Is there a, is there any effort from the part of authorities to try to track down where it came from?
All of these things, we have dedicated units to investigate and check the veracity of all of the reports. And so we actually appreciate any report that our kababayans are giving us. No? In the side of the AFP, we cannot do this alone. We cannot also be there anywhere at any one time. So we actually encourage for most of our kababayans to tell us anything that they see that is quite something that we should act upon, and we will be doing the necessary investigations accordingly, as we have dedicated units for those. We actually created new units, intelligence units, to beef up our operations.
Do we not publicize about these units so that, these threat actors are not immediately alerted that there are operations targeted against them?
Yes, we do. Everything is published in the AFP website. And we also have regular press conferences every Tuesday. It's a regular thing. Anything that we engage upon, create a new unit, we publicize it accordingly.
Has the AFP been roped into this whole Alice Guo case? I mean, obviously, it's, per the senators, it's bigger than anyone thought. It doesn't just involve the Bamban operations, not just the PORAC operations, but there is an undercurrent here of, this could be, we could be up against syndicates, right? There's even some foreign media that have reported that Alice Guo could be a Chinese spy, right?
Or even the Quadcom that are trying to connect EJKs with drugs, with the POGOs. And
what's AFP's involvement in all of this?
Yes, Reg. AFP is actually part of the PAO. No? And in all of these things, anything that's happening, as long as it involves national security, the AFP is always a part of it. So any operation that they conduct, the AFP is willing and always ready to augment in terms of anything that we can assist if it's law enforcement. There are, of course, certain agencies that are front lines in certain operations. But in this, because it's national security, the AFP is directly involved.
Quick clarification, what is the difference between the PNP and the AFP when it comes to, for example, these raids against POGOs conducted by PAO? Because they're the body that conducts the raids, right? So what would be the difference between the roles of the police and the AFP?
In any law enforcement operation, it's the police who takes the lead or the NBI. And we play a supporting role as to whether they need augmentation from our troops, intelligence efforts, investigations we also conduct. So we are all one in this. It's a whole of government, so to speak, approach in terms of investigating and conducting operations in terms of illegal activities related to POGOs.
And so as far as Alice Go is concerned, does the AFP have any better sense of whether she is part of a larger syndicate or not?
As I said, the investigation is being conducted and we're part of it. So any role that the AFP will play moving forward, we are ever ready to assist.
So it's going to be, at the end of the day, whatever findings there are will be announced by PAO.
PAO.
Yes.
So if you have any questions, we should ask PAO.
Regarding Alice Go.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've run out of time. We could talk to you longer, but unfortunately that's all we have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us again, Armed Forces spokesperson Colonel Francel Margaret Padilla.
And just before we say goodbye, time for our big picture for tonight. Okay, we're going to end on a good note. This is Filipina para-swimmer Angel Autumn. The 21-year-old para-swimmer secured her place in the medal round of the women's 50-meter butterfly S5 event, finishing third in Heat 1 and fifth overall with a time of 46.85 seconds. Only the 8 fastest will advance to the final. This is Angel's second final of her Paralympic Games debut. Last Tuesday, she ranked 7th in the heats of the women's 50-meter backstroke S5 event. She then finished the final at 6th place, while China's Lu Tong won gold. Autumn will compete again in the butterfly final. That's just a few hours to go at 11:58 p.m. Philippine time. Riza, you are nodding. She has a big shot at winning?
She does. She is a multiple para-Asian Games winner.
We'll
more
see.
than 7 times. So she's going to prove that it's
3
not
hours. Just under 3 hours now.
3 hours to go, okay. Enough time to pop that popcorn in time for Angel's Heat. But that's unfortunately all the time we have for the big story tonight.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night and a great weekend.